How do you explain a violin plot? Whether you need good help, a genius writer, a brainy tutor, or a data wizard, Intuito for you has them all. It's like having a research dream team on demand.
You know, every dataset has a story to tell, but the real question is, are you using the right tools to actually hear that story? Today, we're going to dive into a really powerful visualization that can uncover secrets that, well, other charts might be keeping from you. And we're going to start by looking at a chart that every single one of us thinks we know inside and out.
And that chart is the good old box plot. We all know it, right? It's a classic for a reason. It's super simple, it's clean, and it gives you this quick, neat snapshot of your data. It's probably the first thing you ever learned when you started looking at statistical summaries.
But here's the thing. What if I told you that its greatest strength, its simplicity, is also its biggest weakness? That in that nice, neat little summary, the box plot is actually hiding something really important.
I mean, its efficiency is why we love it, right? A box plot gives you that fantastic 5-point summary. You get the median, the middle value, that box which shows you where the middle 50% of your data hangs out, and then the whiskers that kind of show you the range, plus any of those pesky outliers. It's a total go-to for just exploring your data.
And that right there is the crucial point. Summary statistics are great, but they are just that, a summary. They don't tell you the whole story. They don't show you the shape of the data. Is it all clumped up in one spot? Or there may be a couple of different groups hiding in there. A box plot, well, it just can't tell you that.
So this is where our hero comes in. Let me introduce you to the violin plot. Think of it as the box plot's more sophisticated, more insightful older sibling. It's designed to show you everything.
So what is a violin plot? Well, it's basically two charts smashed into one. At its very core, you've still got that familiar box plot. But on the outside, wrapped around it, is something called a kernel density plot. If you're not familiar with that, just think of it as a smoothed out, curvy version of a histogram.
Okay, let's break this down. It's actually pretty simple. On the inside, you've got that good old box plot, giving you the summary stats we already talked about. But the violin shape on the outside, that's where the magic happens. The width of that violin shape at any given point tells you how much data is packed in there. So, if you see a wide, fat section, that means a ton of your data points are clustered right at that value. A skinny little section means there's not much data there at all.
Okay, so this all sounds cool in theory, but when does it actually matter? Well, let's look at a real example of where our trusty box plot can, well, basically lie to us.
All right, imagine this. You've got some data, you pop it into a box plot, and what you see looks perfectly normal. You know, a symmetrical box, the whiskers look pretty even. You'd look at that and think, okay, my data probably has a single peak right in the middle, kind of like the bell curve. Makes sense, right? But watch this. When we lay the violin plot on top of it, the truth comes out. The data is actually bimodal. That means there are two totally separate peaks, two distinct groups of data. And the box plot? It missed that completely. This right here is that aha moment that violin plots are so good at delivering.
So, to really put it simply, a box plot gives you the quick summary, the main ideas and how spread out things are. But the violin plot, that gives you the full shape. It shows you the peaks, the valleys, where your data is really concentrated. It's kind of like the difference between reading the back of the book summary and actually reading the entire chapter.
And believe it or not, we're just getting started. The violin plot is super versatile, and you can tweak it in a few cool ways to get even deeper insights from your data.
First up, you can do what's called grouped violins. So let's say you're comparing test scores across a few different schools. That's cool. But with grouped violins, you could also break it down further and see the separate distributions for, say, male and female students within each school, all on the same chart. Super powerful stuff.
Or, and this is one of my favorites, for a really clean, direct comparison, you can use split violins. This literally takes two groups and puts one on the left half of the violin and the other on the right half. It makes it so easy to see the differences in how their data is shaped.
And hey, just like a lot of other charts, you can just flip them sideways, turn them horizontal. This is actually super practical if you've got a ton of different categories you're trying to compare, or if you've got really long category names that just get all jumbled up on the bottom axis.
So, okay, these things are awesome, right? You should just use them all the time. Well, not so fast. Like with any tool in DataViz, choosing the right chart is really about choosing the right story for the right audience. One of the common knocks against violin plots is that they're a bit redundant. I mean, since the shape is symmetrical, one half is just a perfect mirror of the other. So some people argue, hey, why not just show one side and save some screen space? That's actually what a split violin plot does, come to think of it. And let's be real, they are more complicated to look at. If your audience has never seen one before, a violin plot can just look like a bunch of weird, noisy shapes. It can be confusing. And sometimes, you know what? The beautiful simplicity of a box plot is exactly what you need to get your point across clearly.
So,
It all comes down to a trade-off, really. It's a strategic choice. Is your goal a quick, clear, simple comparison for, say, a team of executives? Yeah, you should probably stick with the box plot. But if your goal is to dig deep and uncover those hidden patterns, and you're talking to other analysts or data scientists, the Violin plot gives you a level of detail and nuance that's just unmatched.
So here's the takeaway. The next time you go to visualize a distribution, don't just automatically reach for the default chart. Stop and ask yourself, what story am I trying to tell? Am I just showing a simple summary, or am I trying to reveal the true story hiding in the data? Because sometimes the most interesting, the most important part of that story is hidden in its shape.
And subscribe now for amazing videos just like that. Thanks for watching.